Hi everyone, we're going to be talking about translations today. Okay, for a translation, one thing that we need, the only thing that we need in fact, is the vector of translation. And what this does is it gives you the direction and length of the translation. And by translation, what we mean here is we're just taking something and sliding it in a straight line somewhere else. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about our first example. We want to, well, first of all, we have several points and we've got 4 different vectors of translation. And what we want to do is find the image of P under the translation by these 4 vectors. And what we should note here is it doesn't matter where these vectors are placed. What matters is the length and the direction. So V4 could have been drawn over here instead, and it would have been the exact same vector of translation. Okay, so let's try first what happens to P under V1. So V1 is 1, 2, 3, 4 units straight to the right. So from P, 1, 2, 3, 4 units straight to the right ends up right at C. All right, under V2. V2 is down here, but we'll see it's the exact same vector as V1, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 units straight to the right. So we get the exact same image, right? Taking P, sliding it 4 units right, ends up at C. Now for something a little different, we want to slide it under V3. Well, V3 goes up 2 units and right 1 unit. From P, up 2 units and right 1 unit ends up at A. And V4 does the opposite. It goes down 2 and left 1. And from P, down 2 and left 1 ends up at D. All right, now that we've done an example with a points, just single points, we're going to work with a whole shape. Okay, so what we've got here is our original shape, and we have that the image of E under a translation ends up at E prime. So E gets slid all the way down to this point. Now we want to find the image of A under the same translation. Well, all we have to do is count units, right? How many down and how many left did E go? Well, E went 1, 2, 3, 4 down. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. So we're just going to do that same exact thing to A. A goes 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to end up here. So there's A prime, the image of A under our translation. So that's one way to think about it, is what happened to E, do that same thing to A. Another way to think about it is translations perfectly preserve the shape. It doesn't change anything about it except where it sits on the page. So A started 4 units above E, so it's going to end up 4 units above E. Okay. And that is how we're going to think about finding the image of the entire figure under the translation. Well, here's that left side. And then this top right corner was 3 units right of A. It's going to end up 3 units right of A. And continuing down, this was 3 units below. It's going to end up 3 units below. And then we went diagonally 1 unit. And we connect up that last edge. And there is the translation of our original image. And last thing we want to do is draw the vector of translation. And we can do this really anywhere on the page that we like. So we could just draw straight from A to A prime. We could draw it down here, making sure that we go 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Right? As long as we draw the vector in that direction, the correct number of units, it's correct no matter where we draw it. And our last example, Find the image of the figure under a translation with vector v. All right, well, let's take a look at our vector here. It goes up 1, 2, 3 and right 4. And that's what we want to do to our shape here. So let's start with this top left corner. It goes up 3 and right 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there, let's think about, well, this bottom left corner was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units below, and it's going to end up 5 units below. And so it's clear here that the image under translation is going to intersect the original image, and that's totally fine. That can definitely happen. Okay, so from that point at the bottom, we go right 2 and up 2 to get to the next little piece. From there, it's 3 to the right. And then we go 3 up and connect up the top. And there is our translation.